Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. Dr. Ahmad Al-Hassiny here from the Institute of Digital Dentistry. And today let's talk about the Medit i900 Mobility or i900M, the latest and greatest scanner from Medit, and arguably their boldest move yet into the premium wireless scanner market. This is the company's newest flagship scanner, sitting right here next to me, so let's unbox it and see what we get. Okay, so the Medit i900 Mobility comes in two separate boxes like the previous Medit scanners before the i900 series. We have the main scanner box and we have a secondary accessory box. And also outside the box, we also get a user guide and instruction manual. These are not on the box this time, and basically they explain how to set everything up, how to download Medit Link, everything that's included, and how to connect your wireless scanner. So this is all well and good, but let's get into the important stuff. Let's open the scanner box. This is what you get with the Medit i900M. And if I open it up here, what we're gonna see is a much more streamlined box than usual. One tier rather than two tiers of stuff. But this is everything you get with the scanner box. And so here we have the scanner itself, a calibration unit, a charging cradle for the batteries, 3 batteries. So let's just pick up the scanner itself. This is the newest Medit scanner, and this is called the i900M. And what we can see immediately is that it's definitely sharing the same design language as a Medit scanner. You know, this is built on the i900 architecture. So it does feel like a Medit scanner, of course. It's a bit longer, it's a bit wider, and it's also quite a lot heavier than the original i900 at around 242 grams. And this is expected given it is a wireless scanner this time. Interestingly, this is Medit's latest wireless scanner since the i700 wireless, which was released in 2022. So overall, the build quality is good, and it's basically what we expect from Medit. They've been doing scanners very well for a very long time. And obviously they've learned a lot from years of feedback on the i700 and i700 wireless. Like I say, the scanner keeps the same kind of Medit aesthetic. I would say it feels a little bit more premium, and thankfully there's 2 buttons now. So no touch controls on the i900 Mobility, no doubt because of customer feedback. So it is nice that the company listens to us. As usual, we have the scanner button at the top here with a little tick, and we also have a control button underneath. And what this control button basically allows you to do is manipulate the scan data. Think of rotating, zooming in and out, etc. without having to touch a mouse or a touch screen. So that is the scanner, and of course there's an area at the back here for a battery. Now if I put this down, what we also get is 4 scanner tips in the box, if I can get these out. And these are the standard i900 scanner tips. We have 2 medium scanner tips and 2 large scanner tips. And as we're used to now with the i900 series, you can take off this protective cover cap and these simply click on just like that. So very simple, and I'm quite a big fan of the large scanner tips by Medit because the bigger field of view, the better in my opinion. So each box of these 4 scanner tips costs 300 USD, and it comes with 4 tips. That means each scanner tip costs approximately 75 USD. Each tip, the company says, can withstand 150 autoclave cycles. So in other words, about 50 cents per patient scan. Pretty much in line with other market leaders. In terms of the technical specifications of the Medit i900M, it has a depth of field or DOF of 30 millimeters at the top end. So that is quite high. And a field of view or FOV of 18 by 15 millimeters. Thanks to these large tips, just like in the original i900. And as I mentioned, I'm a big fan of these scanners now with larger FOVs, as it's proving to be very useful in edentulous scanning and also in this new wave of horizontal scan body scanning for full arch implants. So this is definitely a market trend: larger scan windows, less stitching, more accuracy. I also have to say, in all our testing here that we do at IDD, I can confidently say that Medit scanners are some of the most accurate on the market. Now, I will be releasing some interesting data to back this up soon because I hope to get that published. But let's just say that the technology is very, very solid with these Medit scanners. I mean, I can easily recommend them for accuracy alone. So that's the Medit i900 Mobility with a scanning tip. What we also get in here is a box of wireless batteries. So we have 3 batteries here, and they are simply taken out and they are inserted in the back just like this. And I am told by the company that the scanning time per battery is around 1 hour of scanning. And to charge this battery from 0 to fully charged takes about 1 hour as well. So decent battery life. How do you charge them? It's really simple. Down here, we also get this little charging dock. And this plugs in through a USB-C cable, and it has to be plugged into the wall, which no doubt we're going to find in the accessory box. So this fits in the other 2 batteries, funnily enough. And just like that, you can have this on your wall charging the batteries. One thing I have to say is that this overall looks a lot better than the previous generation Medit wireless scanner charger. And what I mean by that is that it's a whole lot smaller, it's low profile, it looks a little bit more modern, I would say. There's these LEDs, and also the batteries have been improved. At the back now, we have these LEDs at the back of the battery, and what this does is tell you about charge level, so that's a nice touch. If we just put this aside, what else do we have in here? We have the scanner cradle, and once again, this is a lot smaller in terms of the overall footprint that it takes. I would say it's a little bit thicker because we have some things built in here that I'm going to talk about later. But it is definitely a lower profile, a lot smaller, and the Medit i900 Mobility sits just like that on your desk. Now, if I put this aside here, all I have to say is that it's just generally nice to see the company try to improve on all these little quality of life aspects when using the scanner day to day. Because we have the cradle that's been improved, it's smaller, it looks a lot better, the battery charger that's been improved, and I can see they're just trying to modernize the whole package here. And the last thing we have here is a calibration unit. So the Medit i900 Mobility is a scanner that does require calibration. This is a standard calibration tool. We've seen this basically since the early days of Medit, and the company recommends that you calibrate the Medit i900M every 90 days or so. So although we are seeing a trend towards calibration-free scanners, a lot are coming out, this is not quite the case yet here for Medit with the i900M, but we can hope for the future. And that is basically it for the scanner box. So now let's open the accessory box. I'll get rid of all the stuff here. And let's see what we find in the accessory box. So this is the accessory box. Let's open it up and see what we can find. Here it is, pretty streamlined, and I have to say the packaging looks quite modern, it's quite premium, everything's boxed up with nice images, it's a nice touch. So the box comes with 2 cables, one 2-meter cable and one 30-centimeter cable. If I just open these up here. So this is no doubt the 2-meter cable, and this is the 30-centimeter cable. And what these are for is, one is for the battery charger and one is for the scanner cradle, because what you'll see here is the scanner cradle itself also has a USB-C port. And what's also interesting to note is that we no longer get dummy batteries with these wireless scanners anymore. I think it's a sign of the times. A lot of you who've been in the scanner market for a long time will know that basically every wireless scanner used to come with a dummy battery that you could plug in. And now I think we just all appreciate that wireless scanners do work. There's no real connectivity issues. And as long as you have a battery charger with batteries in the charger, if you need to change the battery because it dies, it's a pretty quick and simple process. So not really needing to have the physical wire plug-in anymore. The other things we have in here, we have a practice model. This is also a feature that's been seen in Medit scanners for a very long time. And we have a wall mount. And this is basically if you want to attach the scanner to the wall rather than using the scanner cradle. The last thing we see here is a long box of different power plugs and accessories. If I just open this up. So you have a little brick here. I'm gonna make a mess of this, but that's all right. There you go. So you have a little USB-C power brick here, and I'm gonna take out the New Zealand plug here. Just like that. this gets plugged into your wall, and no doubt you use this black cable. And what this is for is basically charging the batteries. So you would plug the battery charger into the wall to make sure these are getting charged efficiently. And that is basically everything that you get with the i900 Mobility. Now, a key feature that has to be mentioned about this scanner is the new iPad native scanning app that Medit has developed called Medit Express. This is one of few scanners on the market. I can only think of one other one that works on an iPad. And I think this is the most impressive feature of the scanner. So if I just push this stuff aside here, this is the iPad app right here. And what's really fascinating is now we have iPad native scanning pretty much for the first time. And I think this opens up some really interesting workflows and patient communication concepts. I mean, if you think about it, this software does the scanning. You could open a laptop, do your design on Medit Design, and have a Midas printer. And I think this would be the most smallest footprint way of doing in-house CAD/CAM possible. The scanner works completely on the iPad, and I was skeptical at first when I saw it, to be honest. I thought it would be a laggy experience because, you know, these scanners often run on hardcore gaming PCs. But to be honest, no, it actually works very well when I tried it at their launch event. So I have to say, quite a nice innovation by the company trying to do something new. Now, the other thing you may be wondering is, where's the TP-Link dongle? Where's the Wi-Fi dongle? You know, because that's very common with all wireless scanners. And how do you connect this to your iPad or your laptop? Well, this is another cool thing that the i900 Mobility has, is a built-in Wi-Fi 6E dongle. And what it means is that you can connect to your laptop via Wi-Fi, and this is actually how you connect it to your iPad, via Wi-Fi. But that little USB-C port that I mentioned here on the Cradle can also connect directly to a laptop, not the iPad, only to a laptop. And this acts like a traditional connection hub that we are used to. So for those of you who don't want to use the Wi-Fi connection for whatever reason, maybe your Wi-Fi goes down or something like that, you can plug in this scanning cradle into your laptop and use this as a traditional connection hub that we are used to with previous Medit scanners. So I think it's overall quite cool that they give you both options, and they've incorporated the wireless hub into the scanning cradle. I think it's a nice little touch here, especially if the Wi-Fi goes down. And that is basically everything that you get with the Medit i900 wireless. So what is the cost of all of this? $21,999 USD with a 3-year warranty. Now, something important to know, the iPad. Medit doesn't include the iPad in the scanner price, but they do have a number of different bundling options and packages depending on the region. So for instance, in some regions like Korea, USA, and Canada, there are package options. For example, in the USA, you can get the Medit i900 Mobility with either a 13-inch iPad Pro or a laptop for an additional $2,000. So if you want a ready-to-go setup, the full bundle runs $23,999 with a 3-year warranty. Otherwise, the scanner alone price is $21,999. That price puts it firmly in the premium segment, but interestingly cheaper than other flagship scanners from market-leading brands like 3Shape, iTero, etc. So Medit is obviously pricing this to be competitive. It is a fascinating thing to watch the market right now. Also for context, Medit's lineup now looks like this. The i600 is $10,500. The i700 is $13,500. The i700 wireless is $15,500. The i900 Classic or touchpad version is $18,999. And as mentioned, the i900 Mobility comes in at $21,999. Functionally, when I tried the Medit i900 Mobility, it kind of feels like the peak of everything Medit has been building up to. It's built on the same architecture of the i900, which, as I mentioned, is a solid scanner offering fast and smooth scanning, good ergonomics, and now with wireless flexibility. And it's expanding its software ecosystem all the time. The i900M in particular bridges this gap between mobile and desktop workflows beautifully because it's all on your Medit Link app. Whether you're scanning directly on an iPad or scanning on a PC, all your scans will sync up on your Medit Link account. All in all, I think the Medit i900 Mobility feels less about reinventing the wheel and more about refining every single part of it. Everything seems better, such as the Cradle, the battery charger, everything is better compared to previous Medit scanners. And I, for one, am genuinely curious how the market will react to this, and if iPad scanning is a good enough draw card for clinicians to buy into this scanner. Also, another thing to mention is that Medit has been developing their full arch implant workflows quite significantly with their SmartX software to enable horizontal scan body scanning of various different systems and products, and providing the entire workflow within their software, including AI matching. So it's no doubt competing with Shining 3D Elite IPG, and it's fascinating to see how much this company is doing. Overall, a very interesting time right now for the company, as they've just launched and released their latest and flagship iOS. So what do you think? Does this set a new standard for wireless scanners? Will iPad scanning be the new norm in the future? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, to stay up to date with all things digital dentistry, check out instituteofdigitaldentistry.com. Full review of the Medit i900 Mobility coming soon. Thanks for watching.